For over 90 years, they've been serving children, adults, and families throughout Southeastern Michigan. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is the Vice President of Resource Development and Chief Development Officer for the Judson Center, Kelli Dobner. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for being here.
Where exactly and what exactly is the Judson Center?
Well, we're a nonprofit human service organization that's been serving Southeastern Michigan for 92 years now. We have four main areas that we serve the community, or how we serve the community. It's child and family services, so anything from family preservation programs through foster care, adoption, post-adoption, and mentoring, all the way to mental health services, both for children, families, in-home, outpatient. We also have a very strong Autism Connections program where we provide very intense therapy for young children all the way up through young adulthood. And they can transfer into our fourth area of service, disability services, where we have a very strong vocational services program focusing on people with disabilities from autism to vision to hearing, you name it.
There are various organizations, all kinds of organizations and groups out there sort of helping, especially with child and family services, that type of thing. But this is the first time I've heard of an organization with a specific program that deals with autism. Is that new, or how unique, or certainly how needed is something like that?
Oh, incredibly so. Numbers keep escalating on the autism front. 2 years ago, we were at, well, let me back up. 4 years ago, we were at 1 in 110 kids had autism. 2 years ago, that number jumped from 1 to 68, and now we're even further where they're talking 1 in 48. So it just keeps escalating, and Judson Center started providing services in autism about 10 years ago, and our program has grown by leaps and bounds. Our main campus in Royal Oak right now has 4 wings, and Autism Services, we're in the middle of raising funds and awareness to expand them into 3 of our 4 wings, just to provide the services needed for these children. And it's amazing to see, because the kids that come into our care, they can be on the severe end of the spectrum, nonverbal, not able to communicate with their world in the way that atypical children can. And once they come into it's called applied behavioral analysis, very intense therapy, anywhere from 15 to 40 hours a week. Wow. They're working one-on-one with one of our wonderful therapists. They are growing by leaps and bounds through the use of an iPad, which just expands their world like you wouldn't believe, and able to have that meaningful interaction with their family that they didn't used to be able to have before treatment. It truly is life-changing within that service.
You mentioned that a lot of the things that you do sort of work hand in hand. Certainly the autism awareness and help sort of goes hand in hand with your disability services. Yes. And I know you're working too to sort of have all of these sort of 4 programs or specialties all combine and sort of work together in the future?
Absolutely. You know, as you mentioned at the beginning, that there's a lot of organizations that do child and family services, or they do Autism Connections services. At Judson, we do everything. And that's the best thing about us, because you can come to Judson Center in one of our services and get to know us in a different way through one of our other services. We know so many of the families that we work with have issues in one of these areas. By way of example, we know that children in foster care, about 75% of them have mental health issues. So when they come into our care through foster care or adoption, we can help that same family with our mental health service professional team. And then a step further, a lot of children that are in mental health services at Judson Center also have an autism diagnosis. So we have a whole team of experts in autism, and like we said, once they're through our autism program, as adults, they can work with our vocational team to find gainful, meaningful employment in the community. It really is a full circle at Judson Center.
It sounds amazing. Hopefully the right folks are connecting with you. Lots of help to a lot of needy families. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
For more information on the Judson Center, you can visit judsoncenter.org. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Kelli Dobner, the Vice President and Resource Development Officer and the Chief Development Officer for the Judson Center.